Good evening. I'm Zen Master Sebastian Rizzon, founding master of the Zen Art Center and the Mind Light Way School of Zen Arts. Oops, I think I just mixed something up here. Excuse me. I'm having like a little technical difficulty right here. Sorry. I lead these guided meditations on the first Thursday of every month, and I hold a Dharma talk also on the third Thursday of every month at the same time at 7 p.m. And you can also find these live streamed on the Zen Art Center YouTube channel. The lessons and techniques I'll be teaching tonight are all derived from my experiences studying and teaching Zen for nearly 20 years. Prior to starting this school, I lived in a Buddhist temple for 16 years and became a master under my teacher, great Zen Master Chengsi Kim. Zen is a practice that follows the teachings of Buddha. The teachings of Buddha direct us to understand the Dharma, which is the natural truth or the truth inherent in nature. Traditionally, Zen practice uses koans to point us to the Dharma. Koans are questions or statements which challenge you to gain a deeper understanding about the true nature of our reality. To understand nature, first you have to understand what is the origin of everything we know, perceive, and experience. This means you need to understand what is at the core of your being. In Zen, we say that this means you must understand your mind. So, what is the mind? This is the koan I give to all of my students and everyone who comes to these classes. We all understand that we have a mind, but what is it? In Zen, I teach a way to guide others towards this understanding. Zen practice works like this. The koans are the seeds that we plant in our mind. These seeds need the light of our mind to grow. Our thoughts are like weeds sprouting up all over the place, blocking the light. For our seeds to receive the light of our mind and grow, we need to clear out all of the weeds. So we use meditation to clear out our mind of all of our thoughts. Then the light can incubate our seeds. I call the way I teach the mind light way. The mind is the origin of everything we know. The light of your mind shines on everything that you're aware of. The way is the practice that illuminates your mind. When you illuminate your mind, you see your true nature. That's what we call getting enlightenment. With that said, let's move into practicing some different types of sitting meditation to help us clear our mind. So for all of these, we're just going to be sitting with our legs crossed. Try to keep your neck and back straight. For most of these, our eyes will be closed, but if they were open, they'll be at a 45-degree angle looking at the floor. You want to have your right hand, left hand touching your thumbs, centered in your lap. If you're sitting in a chair, that's fine. Just try to keep your back off of the seat and sit up a little bit so you're not slouching. Before we get started with the meditations, let's practice a breathing technique that can help you relax and prepare your body for meditation. Start by breathing a little bit slower and a little bit deeper than you usually do. Visualize your heart in the center of your chest as you breathe. As you listen to me, I want you to keep slowing down your breath and breathe a little bit deeper. Feel your breath coming in through your nose and mouth, collecting all of the energy from your brain and moving it from your head into your heart. Imagine now that you're breathing with your heart. The purpose is to try to align our mind, heart, and body. You can also place your hand on your heart and close your eyes if you'd like. Just keep breathing a little bit slower and a little bit deeper. This is a technique you can use to relax or reset yourself whenever you feel nervous or anxious, or whenever you feel like you need to switch gears from different activities you're doing throughout the day. You can use it when you wake up, before you enter a stressful meeting, before you go to sleep, or before you meditate. So let's just take a few more moments to take some slow and deep breaths. One of the most basic meditation techniques you can use is breathing meditation. In traditional Zen, we use a mantra to focus our mind. The mantra is typically a word or a phrase that's repeated within your mind, and it's used to push out all of the other thoughts. In this part of class, we'll use our breath as the focus of our meditation. For this technique, we'll just sit still and quietly count our breaths. During this meditation, try to stay focused on your breath. If you lose count, that's a sign that you've lost your focus. As soon as you have that realization, just start over and start counting again. You can do this technique with your eyes opened or closed. If your eyes are open, your gaze should be towards the floor. So let's just practice this together for a few minutes. In this next meditation, we're going to use sound as our mantra. For this meditation, we'll just focus our mind on the resonance of the singing bowl. Let the sound push out all of your thoughts and clear your mind. If thoughts come, let them go and return to focusing on the sound. Next, we're going to go through a series of meditations which can help you set your intentions for life. The first is a meditation on gratitude. We're just going to take a few minutes to remind ourselves of the reasons that we have to be grateful and give thanks within our mind. For example, I always like to remind myself to be thankful for my health, my family, my friends, and my teachers. The things you're thankful for could be very general or very specific. That's up to you. No matter how bad things get in my life at times, I always like to remind myself that I still have plenty to be thankful for. This helps me keep a positive perspective and outlook in every circumstance. Now, I want you to close your eyes for a few minutes and think about the things in your life that you're thankful and grateful for. If you can't think of a long list of things to be thankful for right now, that's okay. You can just repeat a few things that you're thankful for as if they are your mantra. In the next meditation, I want to focus on forgiveness. This can be a really difficult one. It's not always easy to forgive, but it can be an essential part of healing ourselves. Here we're going to take a moment to forgive ourselves and the others in our lives. This is a chance to acknowledge our mistakes and the mistakes of others that have caused us harm and express our forgiveness. This is not to make an excuse for the harm that's been done or the person that caused the harm. It's more to acknowledge that harboring feelings of anger, hatred, and resentment can prevent us from being compassionate, and this can stunt our own personal growth. This doesn't mean that you have to welcome someone that's harmed you back into your life, or that you should continue to expose yourself to harm in any way. It's more about empowering yourself to remove the shackles that the harm may have caused you so that you can move on from that burden. So let's take a few minutes to forgive ourselves and others for the mistakes that were made and the harm that has been done. Let's also pray that we don't continue to harm others in ways which cause us unnecessary suffering. Now let's close our eyes for a few minutes and focus on forgiveness. Now we're going to take a few minutes to focus on affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements or phrases that are repeated within our mind with the intention of cultivating a positive mindset. The idea behind affirmations is to reinforce positive thoughts and to motivate ourselves to focus on our strengths, goals, and desired outcomes. These affirmations can be anything that's meaningful to you, but a few things I sometimes use are saying, each breath is a mantra that clears my mind. My actions are my mantra. My mantra keeps me focused on each moment. Meditation keeps my mind clear and ready to embrace whatever arises. I'm liberated from my attachment to my thoughts, opinions, and desires. Each breath connects me to the world around me. Love and compassion fill my heart and guide my actions. I treat myself and others with kindness and compassion. My destiny is to attain enlightenment. I believe in myself and my ability to stay true to my path. Use your affirmations as a mantra during this meditation. Now let's take a few minutes to remind ourselves of our intentions and aspirations. Now we're going to focus on prayers. First, I just want to acknowledge one of the comments I saw from Karma Dharma that was retracted, but I saw it before it was retracted. Please have patience with yourself and with your son, and I will send out my prayers for both of you. So now we're going to focus on our prayers. You can pray for yourself, the world, and the universe. I usually pray for good health, happiness, and success in my endeavors. I also pray for the good health and good fortune of my family, my friends, teachers, and enlightenment for everyone in the entire world. You can pray for a friend or a family member who's sick. You can pray for peace and harmony in the world. You can pray for anything you want. When you pray, the air collects your prayers and brings them out into the world where they gather and create potential. The more you pray, the more potential you create. So let's take a few minutes to focus on our prayers. The gratitude and prayer meditations are something that I do every day before I bow and chant. Forgiveness is something I focus on whenever I feel anger or resentment. Today we've planted the seeds which affirm ourselves, our gratitude, our ability to forgive, and our prayers. Now we can move into the traditional mantra meditation to clear out the mind of the extraneous thoughts that grow like weeds. This will allow the seeds that we want to nurture and grow to become the beautiful flowers that we imagine. You can use the previous techniques to set your intentions and create clarity in your life. However, if you want to understand the mind and experience enlightenment, you need to push beyond your thoughts and words to a realm that transcends all of your thoughts and mental constructs and conceptual understandings. To reach this point, you have to completely empty your mind. In Zen, we use meditation to help us reach this point. The traditional sitting technique we use is mantra meditation. The mantra is the focal point of your meditation, usually a word or a phrase that's repeated within your mind. If you try not to think, thoughts will inevitably come into your mind. So by focusing on the mantra, you can use it to push out all of the other thoughts. As you meditate on your mantra, try to let go of your feelings, your opinions, and desire. As you meditate, only concentrate on your mantra. If any thought comes into your mind, let it pass and return to focusing on your mantra. You can use anything as a mantra during meditation, but if you don't have a mantra you want to use, I usually suggest using the mantra of Kwanseum Bosal. Kwanseum Bosal is the name of the bodhisattva of love and compassion in Korean Zen. A bodhisattva is a revered teacher in Buddhism dedicated to helping others. Kwanseum Bosal is often depicted with thousands of eyes and hands and is said to be able to see the suffering of everyone and help those who call out her name. Using this mantra will bring compassionate energy towards you while you meditate. Drawing compassionate energy towards you is like giving water to your seeds, which helps them grow. So let's start with this mantra meditation. So all these techniques that we practice today can be useful tools for clearing your mind. Having a clear mind can have all sorts of practical benefits in your life. It sharpens your ability to focus and concentrate. A clear mind leads to clear thinking, which helps you make better decisions. If you make better decisions, you have less stress, anxiety, and depression. But you can't just sit and meditate your whole day. You have to live your life. You have to do all kinds of things just to survive. So how do you keep your mind clear when you're not meditating? You have to learn how to focus on your actions as if they're your mantra. This means you have to be completely focused on whatever you're doing and not let your mind wander. This practice is what I call moving meditation. Anything you do can be a moving meditation. I find the best way to practice this technique is by doing an activity you enjoy. It could be an artistic endeavor like drawing, painting, writing, or making music. It could also be a sport or a physical endeavor like yoga or weightlifting or riding a bike. Engaging in a physically challenging activity will also make your body stronger, which is vital for maintaining your mental health. Even walking can be a form of moving meditation if you engage all of your senses to focus on your surroundings. This elevated awareness will enrich your experience of everything going on around you. If you want to improve the effectiveness of these techniques, you'll need to practice them. My suggestion is to start by doing a few of these techniques every day. Start by doing one or two of these sitting meditation techniques for a few minutes each day. Try starting out by doing 1 to 5 minutes in the morning, but try to do it every single day. This will help you start every day with a clear mind. Then try adding 15 minutes of physical activity a few days a week. Do some stretching, go for a walk or a bike ride. It could be anything physical you enjoy doing that helps you clear your mind. Doing this each week will transform your routine into a ritual for improving your physical and mental health. As this becomes easier, you can expand your practice, but always do a little bit every day. Consistent practice is the key to making these techniques work for you. These types of practices will help you learn to be present in each moment. Then you can turn everything you do into a meditation. You can meditate on doing your dishes, cleaning the house, gardening, and the work you do at your job. Learning to harness this type of concentration and focus will make you better at everything you do, and it will help you clear your mind. If you practice like this, you'll develop a routine that's constantly clearing out your mind no matter what you're doing. If you take anything from this class today, remember this. Plant your seeds, set your intentions, and keep challenging yourself to understand the deeper truth of our nature. Clear your mind. Use sitting and moving meditation to incubate these seeds. If you keep going like this, eventually you'll see beautiful flowers blossoming all around you. The fruit of all your work will be a clear mind that leads you to a more harmonious existence within the world. I wish you all good luck in your journeys. So I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any. I saw a couple comments in here. I'm not sure if they're something they want me to address. If you have a specific question, you can leave it there and I'll try and get to it. Did you have any questions tonight?
I had one, forgot.
Okay.
One moment.
All right.
Oh yeah. How did you find out about the bell meditation?
The bell meditation.
Yeah.
The bell meditation, it's loosely based on one of the chants we would do at the temple every day, called the morning bell chant. So in that, there was also a chant involved with that, but it was in another language, so it's a little difficult for me to do that in this class, which is more just an introduction to meditation for most people, or just a way to keep the practice up. So basically, I took the bell portion out of that and modified it a little bit, but it starts with a chant. The bell is played during the chant, and then at the end it has like a playing of the bell for a few minutes at the end, and so that this sound meditation is based loosely on that chant, minus the chanting part. But I always found that during that was a place where I really did feel the sound was pushing out all of the thoughts from my mind. So it's a little bit more of something actively pushing out the thoughts. What did you think about that? How did that work for you tonight?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was curious because I've been here many times, and this is the first time I experienced it with you. Right?
Yep.
I mean, and also I was curious because growing up, I used to go to temples, and like I was telling you before the thing, all temples have at least one bell, which also works on the science of vibration and how it affects your brain waves and calms you down. So that and what you just said, the chanting reminds me of kirtan. It's like people stay late and they all chant one chant. Everybody would be chanting and they would be clapping, and there would be bells ringing in the back. But it's different. It's kind of like they're singing.
Yep.
But like you said, your actions can be meditation. So if you're actually into your chanting and like clapping, it becomes meditation.
Absolutely.
Now that you mention it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people engage in practices like that, like chanting or singing, but they don't recognize it as a meditation. And I'm trying to help people connect the dots between those activities, and that you can feel it in those types of activities when you're aware of it, and that can also be a type of meditation, and then also that you can just start to apply that type of focus to everything you're doing in life. It's a little harder, sometimes to maintain that focus at a task at your job that you don't enjoy doing, but in something like like chanting, if you enjoy that, or singing, I think it's a really good bridge to connect those dots. And so I'm trying to bring all of that to the people's attention, through this school and the way I teach, that there's an active form of meditation as well. And a lot of the chants that we did were sutras, Buddha's teachings, and those were, in a lot of ways, extended long mantras. And some of the mantras that you hear, like Om Mani Padme Om, are parts of those sutras. So yeah, I think of them a lot as mantras, as focal points of meditation. We also had bells and gongs, and this is a percussion instrument that we play. It's called a muktak during the chants. So that's like a rhythm instrument. But I think it's interesting. I do think the vibrations are something important, an important aspect of things. And I actually did my last talk was on how everything in the universe is fundamentally composed of waves, which are waves of energy, which are forms of frequencies of vibrations. So I think there is something I think you're subconsciously or maybe more consciously aware of something that I think is a powerful element. And so I definitely suggest checking out the last talk I gave. It's called Artifacts of Reality is what it's titled as. But also this next Dharma talk this month, I was thinking I would delve into the harmony and frequencies and vibrations and how that relates to meditation and Zen practice. So that's something I've been tossing around in my mind about perhaps talking about that more, because I had a few people ask questions about it.
Oh, that's really interesting. I would like to part of that. Is it a Wednesday class or is it a Saturday?
It's 2 weeks from tonight.
Oh, so Thursday.
Yeah,
Oh.
2 weeks from this Thursday. So I think it'll be January 16th, same time,
Okay.
7 to 8. So,
Awesome.
yeah. Any other questions? I do have one in here. I can. The question is, how do you suggest we respond when people are mean to us? I believe I take it too personal. Would like to suggest how to not take it so personal. Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think everybody encounters people like that, no matter how centered you are in yourself. There's still mean people out there, people who do things that are mean. I mean, people are starting wars, doing all types of horrible things in this world. So how do you stop from taking it personally? Well, I think one of the things, to circle back to what I talked about tonight, is just having a routine of meditation that's incorporated into your daily routine. Because if someone slaps you, you're gonna feel the pain. But how long do you hold on to that? And how long do you let that pain control you? And do you end up passing it off to other people who weren't the people who offended you in that case? So I think it's important to learn how to let go of those things, because the longer you hold on to it, the longer you're letting that mean person control you through your anger. They're making you angry, and they're affecting you. So I don't like to give people that kind of power over me. And it's easier said than done, but I think having a routine of meditation in your day, sometimes it really helps to just clear your mind out. And it doesn't always make it go away, but it makes it feel lesser. It makes it feel like you're less angry, less upset. And when you get really upset and angry, it's really hard to make yourself meditate. So it's very important that you're practicing these tools. So when you feel your emotion level going up, that you remember, I have a tool that helps me in this situation, and I can use it. But I have to do the thing that feels the most counterintuitive, which is just sit still and try and not think, and try to clear your mind and try to let that go. I think we're all kind of inclined to think that if we think about it, we'll know what to do about it. But I find in those situations, trying to clear your mind and let go and calm your emotions down, then you get a much more clarity on that situation. And I think what I've found when I do get clarity in those situations is most of the people who are acting like that and upsetting me are doing so out of their own ignorance. If you realized how interconnected we all are, it wouldn't make sense to hurt other people. And ultimately, I think a lot of times I feel actually sad for the people that they're so blinded by their own ignorance. And and it's got to be creating, all kinds of toxicity in their circles. So yeah, try to have compassion for them and for yourself. And the best way I've found to do that is to meditate, but practice meditation. Get good at using these techniques so that you can use them when you really need them. So that would be my advice to that question from the chat. So I hope that's helpful. Any more questions in here?
I mean, I have a question about this also, but I'll ask some of the time because um, the same question about how you deal with someone if someone is mean, I slightly conflicted. But like I'll maybe mention it some other time. But whatever you said is great because I don't feel because I've been practicing meditation and spirituality for almost 4 years. So I don't, when people are mean to me, I don't really get very offended anymore. But I still get conflicted because I feel like if I don't tell them that they are mean, then they will keep behaving like this with other people who might get offended. I mean, I didn't because I've been practicing, so I just feel bad for them, like you said. I said, because they don't realize what they are doing. They're bringing bad karma to themselves, right? So I feel bad for them, but I also feel should I not tell them that they are mean so that they can get better? But then I don't tell them because then I will get involved in it, and then I might get angry. That's why I'm slightly conflicted sometimes because that's what I read and my guru that I follow, he tells me the same thing that don't react, let them be mean, just move on and pray for them and that's all, right? So yeah,
So I would love to respond to that. Actually, I think it's a great point, and I'm just gonna repeat it in case it's not audible. But basically, the question is, you know, this person in the audience here has said they feel inclined to tell the person that they're being mean, that they're hurting people, that they're causing themselves bad karma. But should he just let it go and not engage, or should he say something about it? That's the root of the question there. I think sometimes when you do that, if people are not ready to hear that, it can just escalate the conflict. And so sometimes it might just be best to let it go. But myself as a teacher is to try to help people understand the fault of their ways. But one of the things is when people will only receive help when they're ready to receive it. So if they are completely blind by their own ignorance and they don't think they need help, the odds are you're going to escalate those kinds of situations. So I think in those situations, knowing whether or not to say something, if it's a close friend of you that said something that hurt you, you want to help them, right? So I think that for me, the most important thing is if it's just a stranger on the street, it doesn't matter as much. But in those situations, regardless, if you have a clear mind, you can tell whether you're much more able to perceive whether they're going to be receptive, and then if so, what's the correct thing to say it, how you phrase it. That helps how it lands. Or if you can't find the right words that you think are going to land, just let the situation breathe and come back to it after the emotions have calmed down. That might be another thing. It's hard to know exactly what to do in those situations, but that's why I always come back to the clear mind. That's what helps you navigate these really difficult situations. The more clear your mind is, the more you can see what the situation really is, and then understand how to respond appropriately. 'Cause, 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 ' yeah, I don't know if that's, hopefully that's helpful to you.
Oh yeah, that's great. I think I got the answer um, because that one line you said that um, they will they will get it when they're ready. That is very important because I that made me realize that there is a reason why I'm not a guru or a teacher because my dharma, I am still a student, so I need to work on myself first before I start teaching others, right? So when their time will come, someone will tell them, right?
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be me. I just have to keep working on myself first. Because yeah, something happened at the airport like a month ago, and that like really made me think, should I tell him? Should I not tell him? And it bothered me for like an hour. But it happens very rarely. But yeah, anyways, that's what I, that was really good answer. Thanks.
so I did have another question here. This one is actually a little bit out of my realm of expertise, but I'm gonna give it a chance anyways here. You might be able to help me with this. I don't know how familiar with it. The question is, thank you for taking questions. Of the four great Brahma Viharas, which do you consider the most important to practice? Are you familiar with those terms?
No.
To be honest, I'm not super familiar with them either. In Zen, I think that might be from a different tradition of Buddhism. In Zen, we don't really study the scriptures so much. So I've got to just be honest. I'm a little bit out of my league talking about this, but I believe it has to do with certain Buddhist virtues.
Yeah, it's not a Hindu term. Otherwise, I would have known.
Okay.
Because I've been reading also. Brahma means the universe,
Yep.
but Vidhara, like the second word, I'm not aware of.
Okay, so we got loving kindness, compassion, emphatic joy, and equanimity are the four. Well, if I just, I'll be quite honest. I haven't given a lot of thought to this and how to answer this, but it's hard to it's hard to it's hard to say which is the most important. Those are all part of the Zen practice as well. It's more implied than specifically taught. Loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy in the happiness of others, and equanimity. I think if I had to say, I might lean towards equanimity, the state of emotional stability and composure. And I think in the Zen practice, we focus so much on keeping the mind clear and using the clear mind to, once your mind is clear, that opens the gateway for everything else to come through, the loving kindness, the compassion, and the joy and the happiness of others. That, I think with a clear mind, those things all come very naturally. You naturally find the right path to bringing those out in the world and in the people around you. So I would say, yeah, from the perspective of Zen teachings, it's mostly focused on clearing the mind and emptying your mind, and then all that's left when your mind is empty is the force of love, which is the energy that brings about compassion, and as we reduce the suffering, the joy increases in the world. And so I think that would be my answer to that question.
Yeah, I just read real quick.
Yeah.
These are from.
They put it in the chat as well.
These are the Buddhist. But yeah, so the meaning of Brahma Vihara, it's Vihara.
Okay.
So Vihar means residence, and Brahma, like I said, is the god. So Brahma Vihara means the place where Brahma lives. So if you have these 4 qualities, then you can live with Brahma.
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of like the meaning of this. But that's a Sanskrit word. But anyways, I think, just saying, from what I've learned is giving, right? Which could be the second one, right?
Yep.
The second one was
Compassion.
compassion.
Yeah.
So I think that, because I think if you have compassion, it can bring you all the other things. But yeah, that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Some of the other approaches to Buddhism, like Theravada and things, I'm not someone who had studied that type of Buddhism, but I'm somewhat familiar with it. But they tend to have an approach of adapting certain characteristics and acting in a certain way to clear out your karma and, create the space, to cultivate like the characteristics of an enlightened being within yourself. And the type of practice I do, Zen, comes from a later tradition, and they focus more on what is the practice. The practice is the meditation that clears your mind. And through that practice, in clearing your mind, all of those virtues become the natural way to act. And that's the approach I have taken. It's the approach I was taught, and it's the approach I was taken. And in my experience, that is how it works. When your mind is clear, those things become very natural to you. But I think in the process of getting there, it is important to, be compassionate, to keep your composure, to keep love in your heart. Those were things we were taught at the temple I lived in as well, but we really focused on the practice of clearing our mind. That was the primary focus of everything we did. Yeah, I did see the don't know mind in the comments. I don't know where it went, but that was something my teacher's teacher said all the time, is keeping a don't know mind. Great Zen Master Sung San was my teacher's teacher, and that was a big thing he would say is keep a don't know mind, because you know a certain amount, but there's so much more you don't know. And then how do you get to that? You have to keep a don't know mind, and that's what keeps your mind ready to keep seeking and keep learning and keep finding the deeper truth. Well, I really appreciate all the questions. These are good. They're good questions. I'm sure other people watching this video will benefit from hearing the answers to those. So that's why I love to put these out here and see what people are curious about. I'm happy to answer any more if you have any. The chat, I think, is a few minutes behind, but I'm not seeing anything else pop up here. So really appreciate you coming out here and everybody who tuned in. As I said, I hold this guided meditation in a similar format on the first Thursday of every month from 7 to 8 p.m. And I do a Dharma talk where we do a meditation together for half of the time, but then I talk about a different subject for most of the time, for the remaining time. So that will be in 2 weeks on January 16th from 7 to 8. I hope you all tune in again. For the local people, I have a writing class where we write and meditate together. It's just a writing group. That's the second Sunday of every month from 3:30 to 5. And I have an art group where we create art together. That's the fourth Saturday from 3:30 to 5 of every month. And those are mostly just creative groups where we learn how to incorporate meditation into our artistic practices. And if anybody is so inclined to leave a donation, we appreciate that. The information is in the comments, or it's in the description of the video. And until next time, I wish you all good fortune in your journeys and a happy new year. Many blessings to all of you.